Funding for this program is provided in part by the New York State Education Department.
My name is Maggie Henry, and I have lived experience myself. It was about 10 years ago, and I have grown to realize that it has happened for a reason. I've taken all the negative that was in my life at that point and turned it into a positive, and now I use it for good and to help support other people. I am the chairman for the Broom Tioga Out of the Darkness Walk for the AFSP, the American Suicide Prevention Foundation. And we do lots of different programs in our schools. We have an annual walk every year at Senengo Park, and we raise funds to get more programs into our schools, which is pretty much my main focus. I think that kids from kindergarten up should be talking about mental health and talking about their feelings to become aware about suicide and how to prevent it in the long run. I've always kind of had anxiety, but I really was never depressed up until I was with my kid's biological father and we decided to separate. And I didn't really know how to function without having him physically there. You know, I had a little baby and a rambunctious toddler. How was I gonna shower? And then I could kind of see my mental health spiraling out of control. Right after I came home from the hospital the second time, I didn't want anybody to know about it. And it was almost like we didn't talk about it. And I found over the years that it doesn't get any better if I do that. Everybody needs to be aware that mental health is a thing, and we are never ever going to prevent suicide if we don't talk about it. It's not something that needs to be swept under the rug. We need to talk about it, to deal with it, to prevent it.
Reality is, if someone's thinking about it, we're not putting that idea into their head. What we can do by asking the question openly and honestly is start a conversation. We can be able to maybe mitigate a little bit of anxiety and stress that's going on for the person, young or old, be able to access resources and ultimately let them know they're not alone. We may not be able to give you all the answers, but we can offer support.
If we talk about it and bring it to the foreground, it just lets them know we're worried about them, but we're here to listen. Don't be afraid to ask those hard questions and be very blunt about it, because that could potentially get somebody the resources that they need to save their life.
Are you considering suicide? Are you thinking about taking your own life? Are wonderful ways to have that conversation. Now, it may not be the first sentence you say to someone. It may be, hey, are you okay? I've noticed that you seem to be struggling, or I've missed you at work for a while. What's going on? You want to talk?
My son kind of remembers, you know, when mom went away and was sick and what happened afterwards. And I've been very open with them at a very, very young age. And, you know, at first my mom was very worried about doing that because it is such a young age and putting that idea in their head. But if you do it the right way and the right means, I think that it should be a conversation that everybody has at home, talking about mental health and making sure that that person's okay. And my kids are very supportive. They go to the walk with me every year, and they know that what I do means something. And they've come to me and said, you know, Mom, my friend is acting this way. I'm not sure what to do, you know, and it's nice to let my kids know that I'm glad that they see those signs.
Most people, once they have a conversation started, are going to be willing to talk about what's going on. I think part of the fear is also on the person asking the question. What if they say yes? Now what do I do? And I want to assure people that you don't have to have the answers. What we ask you to have are, where do you go for resources? And know that so you can offer that type of support for someone. One of the biggest things we can do is listen.
My family helped me a lot, and being honest and dealing with the feelings that I was going through and figuring out what was the best route for me to be able to handle my situation, whether it be through counseling or through a medication plan or whatever it might be. I found that starting with getting help as the first step is definitely the right way to go. One of my favorite quotes, it was actually the first time I was in the hospital, it says, "For every dark night, there's a brighter day." I know that my story is not over, and I know that it can be a beacon of hope to somebody, and that keeps me going more than anything.